Yo! It's Floppish back. And today, I will be showing you a couple of OP methods to get fragments. One of them can even be done while AFKing. And I will also show you some extra ways to make fragments on the side. Last but not least, I will show you some things to spend your fragments on. But without further ado, we shall move on to the first method of the video. The first method is quite obvious. It's raids. And frag raids more specifically. If you're serious about getting a lot of fragments, you are going to have to do raids. The best raids for fragments are either the dark or flame raid. But each of them are good. That's because in these raids, the NPCs are a lot weaker. In order to do raids more efficiently, using the Buddha fruit and a fighting style is a good choice. Due to Buddha's defense and range, and your fighting style's ability to spam M1s. On average, it will take you 6 to 7 minutes to finish a flame raid, and finishing a flame raid will give you 1000 fragments. In an hour, you should get 10,000 fragments, which is a lot. But if you don't want to grind raids pointlessly, you can make a service business. This is where you carry people in raids, and in return, they will pay you with a fruit. This way, you can grind raids, earn fruits, gain passes and fragments at the same time. I've already made an in-depth guide about this method. So if you're interested, you can check it out. Now let's move on to the next method of this video. Believe it or not, you can actually make a decent amount of fragments from AFKing. If you've seen my money guide already, you can skip to the side methods to get fragments. Firstly, you will need to use a private server, due to hackers and bounty hunters. Secondly, you'll need to use the Quake fruit and fully awaken it. Thirdly, you can use the Choppa hat to further speed up this method. And also, you'll have to be in the 3rd sea for this to work. Last but not least, you will need to use an auto key presser. If you're on mobile, I recommend you skip to this timestamp. But if you're on PC, I recommend you download and install Tiny Task. Once you have it loaded up, you should press record, spam V, and stop recording. After that, you should go to settings and turn on continuous playback, and you should be good to go. But if you're on mobile, just get something to auto-spam the Quake V move. Now that you have your auto key presser set up, you should make your way to the Haunted Castle Island. Once you've arrived, you should go on top of this building, and go to this spot right here. Once you're at this spot, you should activate your auto key presser and you should be spamming the Quake V move. If all goes well, you should deal 50 to 70,000 damage on the left of your screen. Once you've AFK'd for a while, you should get a decent amount of bones. Then with those bones, you are going to make your way to the Death King NPC and spin. You should get a decent amount of fragments from spinning there. Now that is all of the main methods to get fragments. Now I'll show you some side methods, aka everything that gives fragments. Raid bosses are a different type of boss. When a raid boss spawns, it will usually announce it in chat. Because raid bosses are a lot stronger, and get better, and more important loot that you need. And that includes giving fragments as well. Most raid bosses will give 1 to 2,000 fragments. However, not all raid bosses give fragments. The raid bosses that give fragments are the Dough King, Cake Prince, Darkbeard, and the Rip Indra boss. When a raid boss spawns, not only is there an announcement in chat, but when you go to the boss's island, it will show their health bar at the top of the screen. And once you kill it, they will drop fragments. And they will have a chance of dropping a special item. However, despite all of the benefits, spawning and finding a raid boss is very rare. But if you want fragments, and one of 4 these raid bosses spawn, be sure to go it. But let's move on to the next side method. A lot of sea events that you encounter can give you fragments. They can also give you other stuff such as fruits, and money. Most of these events can happen in both the 2nd and 3rd seas, but not the 1st sea. Some examples of sea events that give fragments are sea beasts, rumbling waters, ship raids, and haunted ship raids. These events give much less fragments compared to the raid bosses, but they are much easier to encounter, and they are usually farmed for other purposes other than fragments, such as sea beasts and rumbling waters. Those sea creatures are mainly farmed for money and Fist of Darkness. But it just so happens that when you kill them, you get some fragments on the side, which is very useful. Last but not least, this method is pretty obvious. You can either beg the server, or a friend to carry you, or you can buy carries. The best way to buy carries without getting scammed is by using Discord. Next, you're going to join the Blox Fruits Discord server. Discord.gg Blox Fruits. Next, you are going to go to the raids channel, and after that you're going to find someone that does carries at a reasonable price and has a decent amount of vouchers. Next you're going to DM them and give them your offer. If they accept, they will most likely force you to pay first, which is where the vouchers kick in. The more vouchers a person has, the more trustworthy they are. But once you traded them your fruit, I recommend you to set your home near the raid place, and you can just chill while they complete your raids. If you're doing multiple raids, make sure to not go fully AFK. Because once they finish a raid you are going to have to go back to the raid platform for them to start the raid again. But that is basically it for all of the methods in this video. Now let's move on to the things you can buy with your fragments. Fruit Awakenings can basically upgrade all of your fruit moves and make them much stronger than before. Fruit Awakenings are the main reasons why most fruits are OP. Fruits like Rumble, Go, Buddha, Light, Magma, and Quake are good nowadays because of their awakenings. But they are very expensive. It can cost 14 to 18,000 fragments to fully awaken one fruit, and if you want to awaken every fruit that has an awakening, it will cost you 187,500 fragments to fully awaken every fruit. Now let's move on to the next thing you can buy with fragments. Race V4 is one of the best things to have in this game. It makes you a lot stronger during PvP and outside of PvP as well. When you have Race V4 activated, all of your stats will be maxed out, which means you can use every item in your hotbar and do a lot of damage with them. And not only that, you can get a lot of OP abilities depending on the race that you're using. You will need 160,500 fragments to fully awaken all V4, not including the race rerolls you would need. But let's move on to the third thing you can buy with fragments. Endgame items are by far the best items in this game. You'll need 3,000 to 5,000 fragments to buy most endgame items, especially the fighting styles, such as Sanguine Art, G-Human, and Dragon Talon. And you can buy other useful items like Pull V2 and Kabucha Gun. And that is basically it for the things you can buy with fragments. That is it for the video. Make sure to subscribe, like, and since you've made it to the end of the video, I think you should comment the word massive to confuse all of the viewers. It would be pretty funny to do. Also, if you have another fragment method, be sure to comment it down as well. But anyways, Floppish out, boys.